Chapter 1. My best friend shops for a wedding dress. My nightmare started like this. I was standing on a deserted street in some little beach town. It was the middle of the night. A storm was blowing. Wind and rain ripped, and the palm trees along the sidewalk, pink and yellow stucco buildings lined the street. Their windows boarded up the block, a blockway past a line of hibiscus bushes. The ocean churned. Florida, I thought. I wasn't sure how I knew that. I'd never been to Florida. Then I heard hoofs chattering against the pavement. I turned and saw my best friend and my friend Grover running for his life. Yeah, I said hoofs. Grover is a stare. From the waist up, he looks like a typical gangly teenager with a peach fuzz goatee and a bad case of acne. He walks with a strange limp, but unless you happen to catch him without his pants on, which I don't recommend. You never know there was anything unhuman about him. Baggy jeans and fake feet hide the fact of his got furry headquarters and hoofs. Goover had been my best friend in sixth grade. He'd gone on this adventure with me on a girlfriend and a bet to save the world, but I didn't seen him since last July when he set off alone on a dangerous quest, a quest no star had ever returned from. Anyway, in my dream, Grover was hauling goat tail, holding his human shoes on his hands the way he does when he needs to move fast. He called past the little tourist shop and surfboard rental place. The wind blew the palm trees almost to the ground. Grover was terrified or something behind him. He must just come on the beach. Wet sand was caked in his fur. He escaped from somewhere. He was trying to get away from something. A bone-rattling gull cut through the storm behind Grover. At the far end of a block, a shadowy finger loomed. It swatted a side of street lamp which burst in a shower of sparks. Grover stumbled. With blood in fear, he muttered to himself, "Have to get away! Have to warn them!" I couldn't see what was chasing him, but I could hear it muttering and cursing. The crowd shook as it got closer. Grover dashed around a street corner and felt it. He'd run into a dead end, a country yard full of shops. No time to back up. The nearest door had been blown open by the storm. The sign above the darkness display a window read St. Street, Augustine, Bridal, Bocket. Grew decks inside the he dove behind a rack of wedding dresses. The monstrous shadow passed in front of the shop. I couldn't smell it could smell the thing. Its sickening combination of wet sheep wool and rotten meat, and that weird sour body odor only monsters have, like a skunk that's been living off Mexican food. Grover trembled behind the wedding dresses. The monstrous shadow passed on. Silence except for the rain. Grover took a deep breath. Maybe the thing was gone. The lightning flashed. The entire front of the store exploded, and the monstrous voice blowed, "Man!" I sat bolt upright, shivering in my bed. There was no storm, no monster. Morning sunlight faded through my bedroom window. I thought I saw a shadow flick across the glass, a human-like shape, but then there was a knock on my door. Or my mom called, "Percy, you're out. You're going to be late." And a shadow at the window disappeared. It must be in my imagination. A fifth-story window with a ragged old fire escape. There couldn't have been any more out there. "Come on, dear," my mom called again. "Last day of school. You should be excited. You almost made it." "Coming," I managed. I feel under my pillow. Oh, my finger closed singularly around the ballpoint pen I always slept with. I bought um, it out, studying the ancient Greek writing engraved on the side. Anaclusum reptile. I thought about uncapping it, but something held me back. I hadn't used reptile for so long. Besides, my mom and had made me promise not to use deadly weapons in the apartment. After I swung a javelin the wrong way and took out her china cabinet, I put Anaclusmus on my nightstand and dressed myself out of bed. I got dressed as quickly as I could. I think not to think about my nightmare or monsters or the shadow at my window. Have to get away, have to warn them. What had Brewer mean? I made a three-fingered claw over my heart and pushed outward. An ancient gesture. Gruber had once taught me of warding off evil. The dream couldn't have been real. At the last of school, my mom was right. I should have been excited. For the first time in my life, I'd almost made it an entire year without getting expelled. No weird accident. No fight in the classroom, no teacher turning into monsters and trying to kill me with poisoned cafeteria food or exploding homework. Tomorrow I'd be on my way to my favorite place in the world. Camp Half-Blood. Only one more day to go. Surely ever I couldn't mess that up. As usual, I didn't have a clue how wrong I was. My mom made blue waffles and blue eggs for breakfast. She's funny that way, celebrating special occasion with blue food. I think it's her way of saying anything is possible. Percy can pass 7th grade. Waffle can be blue. Little miracle like that. I ate at the kitchen table while my mom washed dishes. She was dressed in her uniform, a starry blue skirt and a red and white striped blouse. She wore to sell candy at sweet on the waffles tasted great, but I guess I wasn't digging in like I usually did. My mom looked over and frowned. "Percy, are you all right?" "Yeah, fine," but she couldn't always tell when something was bothering me. She dried her hands and sat down across me. "School?" Or she didn't need to finish. I knew what she was asking. "I think Brewer's in trouble," I said, and I told her about my dream. She pursed her lips. We didn't talk much about the other parts of my life. We tried to live as normally as possible, but my mom knew all about Gruber. I wouldn't be too worried, dear," she said. "Gruber is a big star now. If there were a problem, I'm sure we would hear from camp." Her shoulder tensed as she said the word camp. "What is it?" I asked. "Nothing," she said. "I'll tell you what. This afternoon we'll celebrate the end of school. I'll take you and Tyson to Rockefeller Center. To that skateboard shop you like." Oh man, that was tempting. We were always stretching with money between my mom's night classes on my private school tuition We could never afford to do special stuff like shop for a skateboard, but something in her voice bothered me. Wait a minute, I said. I thought we were packing me up for camp tonight. She twisted her dish rack. Oh dear about that. I got a message from Chiron last night. My heart saying Chiron was the activities director at Camp Half Blood. He wouldn't contact us unless something serious was going on. What did he say? He thinks it might not be safe for you to come to camp just yet. We might have to postpone. Postpone? Mom, how could it not be safe? I'm a half blood. It's like the only safe place on earth for me, usually, dear. But with the problems they're having, what problems, Percy? I'm very, very sorry. I was hoping to talk to you about it this afternoon. I can explain it all now. I'm not even sure Chiron can. Everything happened so suddenly. My mind was reeling. How could it not go to camp? I wanted to ask a million questions, but then just the kitchen clock in the half hour. My mom looked almost relieved. It was 7:30, dear. You should go. Tyson will be waiting. But Percy will talk this afternoon. Go on to school. That was the last thing I wanted to do, but my mom had this fragile looking in her eyes, a kind of warning, like if I pushed her too hard, she started to cry. Besides, she was right about my friend Tyson. I had to meet him at the subway station on time or he'd get upset. He was scared of traveling underground alone. I gathered up my stuff but I stopped at the door. Mom, this problem at camp, what does it could have anything to do with my dream about Groover? She wouldn't meet my eyes. We'll talk this afternoon, dear. I'll explain as much as I can. Regularly, I told her goodbye. I jogged downstairs to catch the number 2 train. I didn't know it at the time, but my mom and I never get to have out afternoon talk. In fact, it wouldn't be seeing home for a long, long time. As I stepped out, I glared at the brownstone building across the street for a shadow that belonged to no one, and that it retired and vanished.